Ask the Messengers TV show is a TV show that educates, informs, and entertains our viewers on public health issues such as mental illness, suicide, addiction, illness and disease, COVID-19 relief, crime, domestic violence, homelessness, human trafficking, employment opportunities, healthcare, and more. And now, Ask the Messengers.
Hello everyone, I am Jacinta Siobhan with Ask the Messengers, and we are out here in beautiful, sunny Detroit, Michigan today, out asking some questions about what people think about the legalization of marijuana.
I have no problem with it. I personally don't smoke it, but I believe it's good for tax purposes, and the city obviously is. Detroit looks beautiful now compared to the last time I was here, so that's all I got on that.
I think it's good. It prevents, the sort of over-policing of communities of color, so it kind of puts a stop to that. Needs to be more investigation into how it impacts younger people when they're smoking, so that's clearly an issue. Also some issues regarding, sort of who benefits from it after, black communities have suffered so much from it, now suddenly is legal and the same community isn't benefiting from it. So it's a mixed bag.
Well, I think it has its pros and I think it has its cons. And I think that if people do it in a confined area, it should be okay. That it shouldn't be just maybe confronted to everybody outside in the public so much, especially around children.
I think it's a great thing because I am a herbalist, so I believe in naturopathy.
I mean, I feel like it's progressive, especially because marijuana not like literally a drug. It's kind of just a herb, so it's progressive.
I think it's amazing. It's definitely moving society in the right direction. I feel like it's very important for cannabis users to be able to use cannabis freely. A lot of black and brown people are incarcerated for this, so I'm just happy that it's legal now, and hopefully we can get some reform for those who are unjustly incarcerated behind cannabis usage.
Well, I think marijuana should be legal. Marijuana is a God-given thing from the earth. Marijuana helps with our body. Marijuana can slow you down, but it can slow you down, can dumb you out, and do a lot of things. But I think personally, marijuana is for us humans.
I think it's good for the ones that smoke weed, but it's bad for like our young youth that's out here that's trying to smoke weed instead of finishing school.
I'm Dr. Tracy Marks, a psychiatrist, and I publish weekly videos on mental health education and self-improvement. There's been several studies showing worse consequences for people who start smoking marijuana before age 18. Starting early results in memory impairment and developmental changes such as a lower IQ. There are cognitive effects that include things like decreased problem-solving ability or poor attention. And these problems create a domino effect where it can hold you back from achievements like graduating college or working in a competitive field. The adolescent brain is very vulnerable to the effects of THC, so the younger you start, the worse it is on your brain in the long term. And the long-term effect is not creating a psychiatric illness. The long-term effect is stunting your brain development in the thinking and memory department. So beware. But on a good note, CBD can help pain, seizures, nausea, weight gain. In fact, 2 synthetic cannabinoid drugs that are FDA approved to treat nausea are Marinol and Sesamet. We still don't have an official use for it in psychiatry. It's being studied for the treatment of psychosis, actually. Because of its effect on memory, it's being studied as a treatment to be used in post-traumatic stress disorder to help reprogram how people remember the trauma. But we're not there yet as far as having a product that yields the benefits that we want without the negative mental effects. Last point here, what's the deal with medical marijuana? Some states in the U.S. have legalized the use of cannabis, the plant, the entire plant, for medical purposes, such as pain control, skin disorders, multiple sclerosis, seizures. Cannabidiol, as an extract of the plant, has many useful purposes, as I've mentioned. It's the THC component that's the wild card here. So if you're able to get marijuana, the plant that you can smoke, with a prescription, if you're in a state where you can get that, the issue is that there's so many different manufacturers and growers of it, you can't control for how much of the THC part that you're going to get. And that's how you can get the variable effects of the medical marijuana.
Stay tuned for more of Ask the Messengers.
Yes, I come from a family who abused drugs, so I've seen the misuse of drugs on a large scale. So I know personally how starting with any kind of drug can definitely get out of hand and can become abusive. So for me, marijuana, I just didn't want to get involved because I know I take it to another level if I happen to get involved with it. Most of my friends smoke and drink, so when I hang out with them, that's what they're doing. But I choose not to do it because I know I take it to a whole nother level if I got involved with it. Seeing family and seeing how weed and alcohol and cigarettes weigh down on people I love, I see how it prevent them from doing certain things, getting certain jobs. So I just didn't want that for me. So I got friends who have jobs that have to quit smoking when they start a job. When they're in between jobs, they pick back up smoking. So I just always wanted to stay consistent. So if I don't do it, I'm not going to do it.
Well, me personally, as me knowing me, to me, it's a license to kill. You know, because marijuana for me, I know if I smoke a joint, then it's going to take me straight to the streets. I'm going to break out on the host road. Then I'm going to break out in handcuffs.
Say do not pass go.
I have allergic reaction.
Straight to the streets, huh?
Yeah. Ain't no rationalizing stuff. I already know what it's going to do to me. Mm-hmm. So the pain that I'm trying to rationalize that I can't deal with, that's just mental. You know, so like when it comes to medical marijuana, to me, that's like a license to kill for the recovering addict, for me. You know, somebody else might use it, say like somebody new in recovery, they might want to use that as a hustle, a gateway. Because for me, that's how I started drugs anyway, smoking marijuana. That's how I started getting high. It started with the marijuana, and then that wasn't enough, so then it went on to other hardcore drugs.
So, LaShawn, are you saying that there's some people who actually would hustle, use that as a way of just working the system, so to speak?
Oh, yeah. So the dispensaries, that's just the new dope house to me. It's the legal dope house. The government said we can't beat them, join them.
I don't necessarily feel that way because I feel like, okay, I kind of agree with the part where she says the government said that we can't beat them, join them, but more in the sense that they realize that they've been feeding this lie to the American public that marijuana is addictive, that it is harmful, that it will kill you. I question anybody to look at the statistics of how many people have died from overdose of marijuana or marijuana-related activities. I can give you right now the answer is 0. But if you look at the statistics on how many people die from alcohol, which is also legal, thousands of people die every year from. So I do agree that the government kind of threw in the towel because they realized they can't keep fronting this lie anymore. But I don't believe that. I feel like anything can be a gateway for anything if you have an addictive personality.
It's two sides to look at this. You can look at it from the point of there are some people that actually use marijuana and they have illnesses going on and they use it to increase their appetite and help suppress pain and all of those other things. Then there are people that are old school, new school weed heads. Every time you see them, their eyes closed together, their mouth dry and chalky looking. They smell like a skunk and rub down their back. And it's just too much. They got to smoke all day, every day. And then the names of the new marijuana scare me.
Today is not like when we was coming up. When we was coming up, you could smoke some weed, get your munchies, and fall asleep. Today, the young girls smoke a blunt. They'll be on the host road. They do some strange stuff for a blunt. What people do for crack, that's what the blunt smokers do. Now, I see them young girls smoke blunts all day, every day, back to back to back. That ain't smoking no blunt. You used to hit a joint, sit it down, and go back and chill. Now, when you smoke a joint from one of them dispensaries, they ain't just going, they going to do something for a pair of Jordans or to get another
Listen,
blunt.
I think they would go get them Jordans anyway. The weed is just the overplay.
Right.
And then it depends on what kind you got. You got indica, you got sativa, you got different strains of the marijuana. So if you get that strain and say, hey, you know what, I need some Jordans and I need some Henny,
Yeah.
then that's what you going to get. You're going to get you some Jordans and some Henny.
I was listening to Derek's story. I'm the total opposite of him. Your story, you wasn't curious. I was curious. See, curiosity killed the cat, satisfaction brought it back. And when it came back to me, you know, I went above and beyond that invisible line. So I know that if I pick up anything, my addictive personality, it's going down. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to trick myself and tell myself like I'm in so much pain to where I can't cope. We've been coping with pain and over-the-counter medicine for years. It's been working.
Two medical things that have shown an increase in incidence since cannabis has become legal and has become more intense is psychosis, secondary psychosis from cannabis, and cyclic nausea vomiting syndrome. Those patients can be difficult to treat because cannabis still has this kind of feeling to it that it's not harmful, and people think, well, it's just a plant, and really, how can it be that bad? And I don't think I'm going to have any withdrawal from it, and I'm not really going to have any craving. And what I've seen is that patients come in and present with, you know, after they've stopped using their high-dose cannabis, have very typical withdrawal syndromes of irritability, insomnia, agitation, anxiety, craving. And so I think that it can be very challenging to treat these people for cannabis. Oftentimes because it's something, too, if it's something that is part of their polysubstance use disorder profile and it might not be their drug of choice, it can be the last one they want to give up because they just don't really view it as easily as the others as being harmful.
What was your drug of choice?
Marijuana.
And how long you been smoking marijuana?
Since I was like 21.
And how old are you now?
33.
Do you have any kids?
Yes, I have a son.
How did you end up here?
Well, because of my drug of choice and the situation I've been through, been in abusive relationships since I had my son and before then, and I let it tear me down.
How old is your son?
He's 6.
How did your using affect your relationship with your son?
Well, when I use that drug, sometimes I will go off on my son for no apparent reason. I know as a mother, you're not supposed to do that.
So where's your son now?
He with his father right now.
Do you see him?
No, not right now.
Do you think about seeing him?
Yes.
What are you doing to get help? If you wanted help, do you know where to go get it?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you hit your bottom yet?
Yes, I'm at my bottom.
How long you been down here?
For 10 days.
What was your worst day using like?
Wow. I can't even remember. And that's why I would tell people don't use that drug because marijuana do mess with your brain cells.
So is that the only drug that you ever used?
Yes, ma'am.
And you end up down here?
Yes.
So it is possible. What you think about medical marijuana?
I think if it helps for, elements, like I call myself, I'm for it. Instead of just using it recreational.
So do your body know the difference in what's sold in the street and what you get from the dispensary?
Yes.
What's the difference?
The difference is it don't have that much chemicals where it has you spaz out. The medical marijuana don't have that TCB in it. Don't have that TCB in it just like the ones on the streets.
If you could say something to some little girl out there that's thinking about picking up marijuana for the first time, look in that camera and give her some hope.
I'll say ask God to help you and don't pick it up. I wish I had people to tell me don't pick it up or touch it.
We'll be right back with more of Ask the Messengers.
It's okay to have edibles. They won't hit me that hard. Fact or fiction? It takes time to feel the effects of edibles, and they can lead to confusion, extreme anxiety, and possible hospitalization due to accidental poisoning. It's still not legal to use weed if you are under 21.
Blaine Burks is a psychotherapy specialist with over 30 years in recovery, and he is here to give a professional perspective on marijuana, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Blaine, take it away.
Okay, good morning, Tina. I'd like to thank Ask the Messenger for allowing me to share my experiences and my strengths and my recovery with you guys. As far as marijuana is concerned, I think marijuana has basically went the road of alcohol during Prohibition, where it was initially banned and now it becomes a socially accepted substance. But what people fail to realize from the good standpoint of view, as far as marijuana is concerned, it's supposed to be for medical issues, people with pain problems and all other kinds of different things. They find medicinal purposes for it. The other side of that, the ugly side of that, is the fact that the marijuana became much more powerful and addictive than it has in the past. In the past, people would say, well, there's nothing wrong. Marijuana is natural and it's all good and whatnot. But the unfortunate thing is that marijuana, along with other substances, also plays a major role as far as being a bridge to other different substances. But, we're going to have people with pros and cons that's going to argue that point, and some are not. We was in California, me and Charlie C, for a big NA convention. NA was founded in California. So we met a member that was a stalwart, high-ranking member of the Narcotics Anonymous community, share that she had started attending this pain clinic. And their suggestion was that that she started smoking medical marijuana. Unfortunately, the thing that she forgot or sort of lost reality with is the basic bottom line is she's an addict. And so now we're looking at a woman with 44 years of recovery up under her belt, all of a sudden lose all of that because she allowed herself to get sucked into this thing about the medicinal values of marijuana. And, it's one of the sad things is to see somebody that was that high in the program relinquish the quality of their life or their clean time. Not saying that, her life went into total disarray, but the point is she lost her recovery as a result of believing that marijuana was not addictive, or marijuana had this great value as far as being for medical issues. And that's my issue or problem with marijuana today is, like I say, it's far more powerful than it has been in the past. I believe, this is my personal opinion, that marijuana and alcohol are gateway drugs to the use of other drugs. But I had somebody arguing with me the other day about this thing about willpower, that using is just based on choice. And I beg to differ because that is an ongoing argument in the recovery community that, willpower versus a person with, I believe, that has an addictive personality. And that's what happened with the lady in California, is that she forgot the fact that you're an addict. And you're a recovering addict, and you're going to always have that characteristic for the rest of your life. So, like I said, the good part of it is supposed to be for medical purposes, to help people with their appetite during cancer and all these other different ailments that people get that they claim marijuana can be helpful to. The bad part of it is it's far more addictive than people may have usually thought. Marijuana has went the way, like I said, of alcohol, and alcohol is one of the most powerful drugs that it is legally in the system. But it causes so much devastation in people's lives that, even though it's legal, it has a very destructive part of it, because some people, they become alcoholics and destroy their whole life as a result of using the alcohol or the drugs. So that's basically my take as far as the marijuana thing. I believe that, like I say, for some people, it might be helpful to them in certain areas, and then for others, it's just another gateway drug to a person maybe using other more stronger substances like heroin or cocaine, or taking ecstasy pills, or whatever it is they got going on out there now. Thanks for letting me share.
Well, that concludes this week's episode of Ask the Messengers. We also invite you to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and to subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you would like to help support our show, please feel free to make a donation of any kind by visiting our show website, www.askthemessengers.org. If you prefer to mail donations, please make check or money order payable to Ask the Messengers TV show and send it to 18400 Schaefer Highway, Detroit, Michigan 48235. Ask the Messengers is the program that deals with things that help you. Thank you for watching.